Hello and welcome to 21 days of charging $21,000. And I am Ian. I be Ian. Which is my wordy way of segueing into our topic, which is states of being and what that actually means. So yesterday we talked about goals, or I guess I talked about goals on the video, and you guys talked about goals, the concept and the topic of goals in the comments, which was great. Thank you. It was cool to see what you guys had to say. So today I want to talk about, there's this quote from Thomas Jefferson, and it goes, if you want to have something you've never had before, you gotta do something you've never done before. It's a great quote. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So this quote is really good for a lot of people. A lot of people just stay in a state of wanting, right? Like they go, this is just an example. It could be anything for you. It could be, I don't know, maybe you want like a happy relationship, or you want, I don't know. But my example is just a simple one of, you want to have $1 million and you've never had $1 million before. You want to make $1 million and you've never made $1 million before. So to have $1 million, you have to do something you've never done before then, right? Makes sense? You have to do what's required of what you've never done before to have that goal, to have that thing. So it's really good for like when we're in a place of just like, oh, I'd like this thing, but we don't do anything about it. We don't make a change, right? Because a lot of us do that. A lot of people are like, oh, I'd love to do this, but like, you know, I can't for whatever reasons. I'm not even going to do anything about it. So what I've realized though, from my own experience and from others, is that once we get out of that place and we start doing things differently, when we get out of our comfort zone and we start to go do things we've never done before to acquire what we've never had before that we'd like to have, when we start doing that and we realize we're doing that and we can acknowledge ourselves for that, and we realize that our results don't seem to be kind of short of what our goal is, what we would like to have, then there's this second part, or I guess there's this part that I would add on to the whole concept. So how I'd add it on to the quote is like this. If you want to have something you've never had before, you have to do something you've never done before. And if you want to do something you've never done before, you have to be something you've never been before. And that means you have to be somebody you've never been before, or be a version of yourself you've never been before. So the way that the brain works, in short, the way that the mechanism of the unconscious mind works, in short, is basically that, first of all, the unconscious mind handles up to 95% of the brain's functioning, and the brain takes a magnificent amount of energy to function. And so to save energy, we have the unconscious mind, which basically puts everything on automatic. And that's where habits become ingrained. And so if your unconscious mind doesn't believe something's possible because it's learned thought patterns and habits about the world, about reality, if it doesn't believe something's possible, or it doesn't believe it's possible for you, you can't make it happen, no matter what you do. So we can, you know, we can go and do and do and do, and then when we fall short, I think we talked about this on the second day, we can go, okay, well that didn't work, let me just try even harder. Or we can realize that the problem isn't really like that. It's not what I'm doing, it's not like an external thing, it's actually how you're being. And so when you get this, you can start to go, oh, so actually my identity doesn't really fit with what it is I'm trying to do. And because my identity, which your identity is basically the makeup of all of that which you be, all of your states of beings, all of your emotions, that could be enthusiasm, that could be joy, that could be optimism or positivity, or it could be like the opposites of those. It could be negativity, it could be skepticism, it could be whatever. But your identity is the makeup of all of that which you be. And I lost my train of thought now. Trying to pack too much in here. Trying to force it too much again. Yeah, so I'm just going to read this part from this book. And yeah. So this is from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And it's in the first habit called Be Proactive. Notice the language. Be proactive. Doesn't say do proactive. So, the haves and the bees. One way to determine which circle our concern is in is to distinguish between the haves and the bees. The circle of concern is filled with the haves. I'll be happy when I have my house paid off. If only I had a boss who wasn't such a dictator. If I had more obedient kids. If only I had a more patient husband. If I had my degree. If I could just have more time to myself. The circle of influence is filled with the bees. I can be more patient, be wise, be loving. It's the character focus. Anytime we think the problem is out there, that thought is the problem. We empower what's out there to control us. The change paradigm is outside in. What's out there has to change before we can change. The proactive approach is to change from the inside out, to be different, and by being different, to affect positive change in what's out there. I can be more resourceful, I can be more diligent, I can be more creative, I can be more cooperative. So basically, in short, what happens is what you choose to be impacts what you end up doing. So we can try and be like, oh, I'm going to just do more. I got to try harder. I just got to do more, do more. But if you're not coming from it from the right place, from a congruent state of being, then it's not going to work out. If you start to change your state of being to an identity that fits what you would like to actually do and accomplish, the doing becomes a lot easier because it fits with who you are. And not just it becomes easier, but you find yourself doing things that are different than what you formerly believed even was what you had to do. That's all. So, one last question. Just one. If you were to change who you're being, if you were to change your identity to fit that version of yourself that would accomplish your goals, what would that look like?